Apple's AI capabilities are taking center stage literally during this year's Worldwide Developers Conference. The multi-trillion-dollar tech company on June 9th rolled out a host of updates, including a live translation feature, a new liquid glass design, and group chat updates. But investors are taking a closer look at what didn't make it on stage. With no major AI breakthroughs or a long-awaited Siri overhaul, Apple's AI roadmap is raising questions. Investors are keeping a watchful eye after last year's unkept AI promises when it introduced its Apple Intelligence service and failed to deliver on a more personalized AI-powered Siri. And this year, Apple's most notable AI update will allow outside developers the same access to its AI technology that's built into iPhones. It's cheaper for developers, faster for iPhone users, and it keeps data local in line with Apple's privacy focus. But still, investors are asking the bigger question here. Can Apple turn AI into a growth engine and not just a feature? Wedbush analyst Dan Ives called the WWDC event a yawner and said more heavy AI lifting is ahead of Apple, with time ticking and investors' patience wearing thin. And Dan is with me now. Dan, you were at this event. Did Apple move the needle at all to ease any investor concerns about Apple falling behind in the AI race?
I mean, to some extent, maybe they even elevated those concerns. I mean, as someone that's covered this company really from the beginning, especially going back to Jobs and Cook and launch the iPhone, this was probably one of the more disappointing WWDCs because the elephant in the room is what's the AI strategy? Look at OpenAI, look at Google, look at Microsoft. And I think this fell flat.
Apple said the upgrade to its Siri voice assistant would be delayed because, as they put it, it needs more time to meet our high quality bar. Apple was one of the first Silicon Valley companies to really embrace AI back when they launched Siri. How are competitors able essentially to leapfrog Apple here?
Look, I mean, the install base is unrivaled, but when you look at what's happened, there's a fourth industrial revolution. And look at Intel. Go back to Intel a decade ago. Look at them now. I mean, the point is innovation is very, very important. And AI is not moving, it's accelerating. And I think that's why, Apple is really, this is a key year ahead. I mean, they were safe, close to the vest, especially after the black eye situation from a year ago and having to backtrack. But this is, it's a pivotal time for Apple to become an AI player.
And how far behind in the AI race is Apple? And what's to blame here? Is it the leadership, a cautious strategy, or is it something else at play here?
I mean, they're very far behind. I know in terms of why, is it the privacy issue? So cautious, everyone's in a Ferrari, F1 style left lane, they're in a minivan, 45 miles an hour right lane. Is it they just underestimated the opportunity, technology snafus? I mean, it's a whole host, but also it's like not acquiring. Now, I get the company's traditional history, not doing acquisitions, I think is a huge mistake here.
Apple is competing with Microsoft and Google, who have aggressively invested in AI models, and Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is creating a new superintelligence team that's focused on building the world's leading AI platform, according to multiple reports. But you did just touch on this. How vital is it for Apple in order to catch up in the AI race that they do acquire an AI company?
I don't know if they get there without acquiring. And I think it's one, I know the biggest acquisition they've done is Beats 3.5 billion, but it's an arms race going on in tech. Look at OpenAI with Johnny Ives coming 6.5 billion. I mean, obviously someone that obviously really created Apple to where it is today with Johnny Ive. I think that's the issue. I think investors, it was a shrug the shoulders event.
Mm-hmm. And if it's so critical, like we've been seeing, to acquire an AI company, what's stalling Apple? Why aren't they just going out and doing it?
It's the culture. It's no acquisitions. We could do it better in Apple Park. I just think it's gotten to a point where I don't know that that strategy still holds.
And what does Apple need to do to be competitive in the AI landscape?
I think acquisitions, be aggressive, take risks. Being safe here, that's not what developers or even consumers want to hear.
At this year's WWC, Apple focused on practical enhancements rather than bold new breakthroughs. Is this a BlackBerry moment for Apple when it really needs a ChatGPT moment? And if it doesn't deliver a bold AI breakthrough soon, what could this mean for its reputation as an innovation leader?
Yeah, I love that term. That's super in it. But I think it's appropriate. Like whether it's a BlackBerry or an Intel moment, look at the rest of Silicon Valley. Look at OpenAI, look at Oracle, Palantir, the list continues. And it was a kind of, it felt more like a time warp back to 2018. That's what WWDC felt like.
Apple's AI progress may seem slow to some, but do you think there's a risk that the market is undervaluing Apple's long term, multi year roadmap for AI rather than just a quick sprint?
No, look, there is definitely an underestimation of the install base, what AI, what the monetization could look like. But Apple needs to give something. In other words, it can't just be about hope, right? And I get that they were safe, but I think that was a little too cautious of a strategy at this time.
Apple is investing $500 billion in AI infrastructure in the US. How significant is this investment for Apple's AI strategy going forward? And how does this level of commitment compare with what other mega cap tech giants like Microsoft and Google are doing?
It's significant. They have to continue investing in the US, especially with Trump. I think they're going to invest more, as in the coming months. AI, that's where their strategy is really going to be in terms of based in the US. But I think we got to see how this all plays out for Apple, especially given the tariff situation.